talk at the same time. I'm doing my little 5 mile trek, get this exercise in. But while I'm doing it, I just got a very quick, because once again, I got my workout going on. So I want to, being on here is going to prolong it. But anyway, let's get into this. My question for a lot of you guys is, when does the practical application piece kick in? Whatever you believe is the solution. Whatever you think needs to be done. At what point in time do you say, you know what? It's time for me to apply this information or to test out what I believe to be true, right? What's going on, Jackson? Like, for example, let's say that you believe that in order to have the wind is kicking in right now, but let's just say that in your opinion, you believe that in order to have a good outcome with a woman, you have to have a certain amount of money and a certain level of career and status. Okay, well, when do you actually do that? Well, let's just say, you know what, the laws got to be changed and all this kind of stuff. Okay, well, when do you plan on finding a men's rights advocacy group, becoming a dues paying member where you go to meetings and you pay dues and y'all, when do you plan on actually doing some work for that? That's the question. Because what I see a lot of is just a whole lot of talking. And I don't know when, as a whole, us brothers got so wrapped up in just talking and talking and talking and pointing the finger. Oh, it's the system. It's white. It's the black. It's the matriarchy. It's the Democrats. I don't, and I certainly didn't expect for some of us to just be talking for years upon years upon years. I didn't expect that at all. Like I understand, we're all human beings. We are going to be upset. We're going to be frustrated. We're going to be angry. We might vent, you know, all that kind of stuff. But when that end, like are we just going to perpetually talk about what the problem is and point to this and point to that and point to the woman and point? Is that what we're going to do indefinitely? I don't understand that part. Hold on, let me let this ambulance go past. That's my thing. When is the practical application? If you feel as though the best option is you got to go overseas and get a passport and find you a woman in another country, okay. When do you actually find a foreign bride? When? If you feel as though you got to meet a woman, you got to really check her background, make sure her dad is in her life, make sure she's from a certain type of neighborhood. And okay, when are you going to actually do that? If you believe, like, you know what, there's some good women out here, but you know what, I don't trust these black women. I got to get a woman from a different, give me a white girl or Asian girl. If that's what you believe, okay. When are you actually going to do it? That's my question. Because I'm not saying I agree with any of these ideologies. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if it's what you believe, when are you going to put it into action? That's what I'd like to know. When are you going to do something? When are you going to try something? When are you going to make it happen? Because what I see is a lot of brothers who are not actually planning on doing anything. They're not planning on actually doing anything to get involved with the political process and to change laws. They're not actually going overseas to meet a different woman. They're not actually going out to meet a woman from a different race in this country. They're not actually going out to meet a black woman from a different culture, dating across the diaspora. What I see is there's a lot of men who aren't really doing anything except having the same conversations over and over and over again. And that's I don't get that at all. Like at a certain point, you have to put your talking points, your beliefs to a real test. A lot of us we get way too caught up and we gotta have the conversation. We gotta have the debate. We gotta knock down somebody's talking points. We gotta come up with a new phrase or a new term. We got a new a topic for a show. We gotta hop on the panel. But at what point does practical application kick in? That's the question. What the? Just about that. Some Joe was flying around me. I was like, I didn't know what that was. But yeah, that's what it boils down to. At what point does practical application kick in? Because what's happening with a lot of us is we're building up a channel, we're building up an online community where our subscribers are growing up, our views are going up, the production quality of our videos is improving. But in terms of actual real life action, there's no traction. That's the issue. A lot of us are getting stuck on the online conversation and have forgotten about the real life application. I'm gonna say that again. A lot of us have gotten stuck on the online conversation and have not started on the real life application. Meaning, if you look at the quality of our content, our channel, our camera angles, our camera quality, the sound effects, the background, the music, the intro, like the quality of our content surrounding the online conversation has grown and improved. But then when you look at practical application in real life, not doing anything. And in even more other words, we got new cameras. We've upgraded our live streaming software. We've updated our background. We've ordered lights and microphones off of Amazon. We've built connections with other content creators. We consistently go live and create content. We have good panels and entertaining conversations about the topic on social media. So when it comes to having the conversation online, we have grown our content by leaps and bounds. But when it comes to applying our talking points to our real life interactions with the opposite sex, there's no progress. There's no practical application. That's the issue. A lot of us are growing as content creators, but we're not growing in terms of applying our talking points and then having a positive impact on our real life. And the danger in that is a lot of us are convinced that our talking points are correct and we can argue our points well. online. But we don't really know for sure what actually works because we have not implemented anything in our real lives to test it out and to show that it works. Because I can remember there was a point in time where I was saying, you know what, I'm gonna get this camera and I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna get that and I'm gonna improve the quality of my content. I'm gonna really make it into a real professional looking show. That's what I was thinking at one point in time. But then I said, no, I'm actually not going to do that. And things could change. But at the current moment, I don't have a desire to be a YouTuber. When I say YouTuber, I mean like I don't have the desire for that to be what I'm doing professionally, meaning to pay my bills, meaning to eat. I don't actually have a desire to do that, especially not concerning like relationships. I do have, once again, after you say what you want to say, comes practical application. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm not going to be keep saying the same stuff over and over again. I'm going to relate to brothers what I'm doing and what I'm trying. I'm going to do that in my actual life, and I'm going to reap the rewards of practically applying what I believe in. And neither guys are going to try it or try their own version of it, or they're not. But I don't have a desire to keep having the same conversation over and over and over and over again. I don't have a desire to knock down talking points. I don't. And so I intentionally decided that, you know what, I'm not going to polish up the content because I'm not trying to do this in a serious way, at least not at the moment. That's not what I'm thinking about. Now, what I might do is just get a little small, little cheap microphone so that way when I record the content I want to record in July, it sounds good. But outside of that, like, no. I'm like the stuff that I'm getting ready to put out. These are things that I actually tried and implemented in my real life, and I'm reaping the results from it. But I don't have a desire to keep talking about what's wrong with this woman and what's wrong with no. That's what's missing from a lot of this stuff. Where is the practical application? Where's the practical application? Why do you want to keep having the same conversations about women with men? It doesn't make like I don't understand that. At a certain point, once again, practical